morning. Thank you for joining me here over at the campsite. See, I'm roasting a marshmallow to get us started. Now, if you traveled with me yesterday to New Jersey, I hope you enjoyed and had a good time seeing the sights and everything from boardwalk and all the different places. Yeah, it's a little cold this morning, so I'm just going to spend a little time at the campfire to get started. We know this is spring break week, and it may not have been what we originally planned, but we're going to make the most out of things. Now, last week we talked about nature and leaving nature outside. So this morning, before the video started, I took a pretend nature walk and saw all types of insects. And if you and your children are doing any type of science journal, if you take a nature walk, you can definitely take a look at all the types of insects that are around, draw them, and then when you get back inside your homes, look them up to see what their classifications are, being able to label their different parts. Remember, I'm actually outside right now, so I didn't bring nature inside my house. So these are some of the things I saw on my nature walk this morning. Decided to let you see some of those things that were outside too. Now, when it's camping, let me put my marshmallow over to the side. When you're camping and you're going out for a walk, you always want to make sure you know where you are and how to get back to your campsite. So campers use coordinates. They use a compass to help them realize where they are, where they're going, and how to get back to their original destinations. So today we're going to be talking about coordinates and coordinate points. And I always try to put in some type of integrated activity. So we added in the science component, but I want to thank one of my good friends, Stephanie, for coming up with the secondary math component for today. And we're going to also adjust these lessons so that students of all ages can get a chance to participate. Now, I'm working with mirror image today because I want you to make sure you're able to see what's going on. Y'all hear all the birds chirping out here in our campsite? This is the Cartesian plane, okay? And hopefully I have this oriented right so you can see everything, okay? Now, our younger students will recognize this as the number line. We use this all the time in our elementary levels. But when we move up to the higher levels, we have it going both ways, and it forms a Cartesian plane. It's divided into 4 regions called quadrants. And we start here. This is our first quadrant. Then we have our second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant, okay? Now, today's focus is going to be all in the first quadrant. And if you're looking at closely at the first quadrant, all of the numbers, whether it's on the x-axis or the y-axis, will be positive numbers, which means we're going to be moving in the same direction, either to the right or moving up, okay? So in order for us to focus in to see exactly how we move on that quadrant, let's take a look at this. We have some very simple shapes, and you can see that it's numbered. It's very small. I apologize for that. But we go from 0 to 16 on our x-axis and from 0 to 20 on our y-axis. So if we start off with our Let's start off with our triangle. And let me move a little bit closer so you can see how we would do that. Okay? To figure out where we are with our triangle, we would go down to our x-axis and count over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7, and then we will have to go up to 11. So the coordinates for our triangle would be 7, 11. Let's try it again for our clover. We move along our x-axis. 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we go all the way up to 15. So the coordinates for our clover would be, where do we go first on the x-axis? 3. And then on our y-axis, it was 15. Our heart, I'm actually going to start here because I know going across is going to be my x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm on 8 on my y-axis. So that's going to be 4 and 8. Okay? So I want you to take a look at the star. What would the coordinates be for the star? If you said 11 and 5, you are correct. And we still have our happy face here. And what would the coordinates for our happy face be? If you take your finger, you go all the way up here, and go all the way across, and where they meet, that's going to be 14, 14. Now, parents, if you don't have grid paper at home, that is fine. What you can do, you can take different type of ropes or string, whatever you may have at home, and create some type of grid system at your house. Use stuffed animals and put them at different locations, or toys or whatever you may have, and get your students to identify the coordinate points. Okay? Now, yesterday, I posted a grid online for you to work, as well as the coordinate points. Hopefully you had a chance to download and print that off and work on that. If you didn't, stop right now and take a moment and try to work on those before we go any further, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. So I'm going to give you a chance to step away. For those of you who are still with me, we were working on the coordinates for a flower graph. Okay? And I had big paper at home, but I had to take time to actually draw the lines out because I didn't have any graph paper here. And you don't need to use anything fancy. I had a piece of cardboard that I was using to draw the lines out. It's not about perfection. It's about getting a chance to practice the skill. So parents, don't get frustrated if you can't get the lines just right. It's okay. I promise you. Matter of fact, older students, this is for you. So if you get a chance to go ahead and draw those lines, feel free to do so. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit. I apologize for all of the shakiness. I'm still getting used to this, but I want you to be able to see where we are. So I started working on this one to have us an example to look at to continue talking. I hope y'all can see that okay. So when I left off, my last one was here because as you plot each one of the coordinate points, you're supposed to connect that point together, creating different line segments as we go. As you can see, as we continue, we're forming an image, okay? So my last point was 12, 12. So I'll look at my sheet to see that I'm at 12, 12. And I also put myself a little check mark. I'm going to try to do this kind of quickly. So my next one is 11, 14. Try to scoot this down a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing exactly. So I'm going to go over to 11 and then go up to 14. Always double check because I get nervous doing this because I'm doing it in ink. Get my straight edge, connect those points, make another line segment. Now 11, 17. I was already on 11, so I just go up for 17. 10, which is going to be 1 over, and then 14. And then I'm going to go back down. 10, 14. See, you can find the coordinate points multiple ways as long as you are paying attention to which point is on the x-axis and which one is on the y-axis. 8, 12 is my next one. 7, 13. Ooh, that was crooked. I apologize. Continue straight. 7, 15. If any of my former students are watching, you'll remember me telling you a lot of times to pretend something was straight. I haven't changed. 9, 18. And if I'm going too fast, once the replay is available, please, sir, please, ma'am, feel free to stop it and slow it down as much as you need to. 6, 15. 4, 14. 3, 15. 4, 17. 7, 19. 4, I'm at 7, so 6, 5, 4. 18, right there. 119. 121. Then we have 3, 22. 7, 21. You see how I keep double checking my points to make sure I'm looking at the right coordinate numbers? Always double check your work. Make sure you are paying attention to the numbers and the coordinates you should be plotting. 4, 23. 4, 25. 6, 26. 7, 25. 9, that we're at 7, so that'd be 9. 23. 7, so we're at 9, so 1, 2 would be 7. 26. And then 8, 28, which was our first point. So since we already have that point, you know to just go ahead and connect those 2 points. Okay? So we have the first part completed. We have completed and plotted all of these coordinates on our graph. Now it says start a new line, which means we'll plot these lines at these points as well. We have 13, 18, 13, then 18 is here. I'm going to use my little star to indicate that's where we're starting our new point. Then 15, I was at 13, so 15 is going to be over, and I need to go down to 15. Then I'm going to connect those points. Then 15, 10. We're already at 15, so I need to go down 5 to get to 10. Then 14, 5. 12, 2. And then 11, 1. So now, thanks to using our coordinates, we're able to connect math and science a little bit further by using that to create our flower. Okay? So, now that we have used this to create this image, we can actually extend this lesson a little bit further. For our 7th through 9th grade students, we can select 2 coordinates from a line segment of our choice, whatever ones you would like, to calculate the slope reference, okay? And the reference for that is the slope formula. So I'm going to actually model that for you. I'm going to choose 2 lines. Now, when we're talking about slope, we're talking about the direction of the line. Which way is the line moving? So I'm going to use, I like this one. I'm going to use 13, 18, and go down to 15, 15. Okay? So, slope is represented by the letter M. And hope y'all can see if I write it down here. If I write it down here, would it be okay? I hope. So, M equals rise over run, which means that you have your second y coordinate minus your first y coordinate. Sorry, that should be a 1 right here. Over x, the second one and the first one. So I have chosen 13, 18, and then 15, 15. So in labeling these, this would be one x, this would be another x, this would be a y, this would be another y. This would be my first one, and my first y, my second x, my second y. Is this making sense? Okay, so then I just plug these numbers into my equation. So that means, let's see if I got this too high. That's going to be 15 minus 18 over 15 minus 13. So when you have 15 minus 18, are you going to end up with a positive number or a negative number? It's going to be a negative number. And then it's going to be 15 minus 13, which is a positive number, which means that in order to complete the next point, you would need to go down 3 spaces and over 2. So in other words, if we move down from our first spot, 1, 2, 3, and then over 2 spots, that's the pattern our line would be continuing. So if we continue this line segment into a full line, the next point should be located at moving down 3 spots, 1, 2, 3, and then over to the right, because it's a positive number, 2 spots, 1, 2. So let's use our straight edge to check that out. If we continue that line, so that shows you the direction your line would be traveling. Okay? So, again, for students who are in grades 7 through 9 or any older ones who need a refresher, your challenge now is to choose any points you wish and do the same thing. Figure out the slope of the line. And then for older students who need a little challenge, your challenge is to write the equation of a few select line segments using the point slope formula or slope intercept formula. Okay? And then I'll post this picture after the video is posted, so you can actually see and get a chance to reference back to this. Now, once you have a chance to practice using the coordinates let's bring this into real life. When can we use this to practice? I've been trying to connect it to games I have at home. So one game I have that uses coordinates is Battleship. In Battleship, you have to put your ships on the grid, and then in order to win the game, you have to call out coordinate points to see if you can sink your opponent's ships. You keep track of everything with your hits and your misses by putting the white pegs in the different spots on the game grid. Okay? It's a fun game. But if you don't have that, I also found this online version that really doesn't give you a chance to put the actual points in, but it's pretty cool because you still have to know a lot about your coordinates and how it works in order to put your ships in the right space, and then pay attention to how you are hitting the other ships in order to win the game. And I'm going to turn this around for you right here so hopefully you can see it. And of course, it decided to freeze up on me. So the way you play this game is you choose your vessel and you put it in every point. And it's going to give you how many spaces you can use. And then you can rotate it as well. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to put them on here quickly so you actually see how gameplay works. So you see the grid system that's up here. The x-axis is numbered with numbers and the y-axis is numbered with letters. So they're actually using numbers as you would with a compass. So I missed. They missed me as well. So I know that's a ship that's not there, so I'm going to try another location. So you can see here that I have 2 hits in a row. It's now showing that I sunk a ship, so now I need to move in the other direction. And this game is free. And I will add the link to it as well, so as another follow-up activity that you can do at home. So I have completely taken care of that particular vessel. And gameplay continues like that until all of the vessels are sunk. Okay, so that concludes our activity for today and our camping trip. I hope you had a good time. Tomorrow we'll be going to the beach. So I hope you remember to pack lightly, Cool thing about this, like today, we didn't really need to use our bug spray. Tomorrow, we really won't need to use our suntan lotion either. I hope you're finding these tips helpful. Remember, we don't have to have it exactly like we planned. We can use what we have to have a great time. Thank you as always for joining me. I hope you benefited, had a good time with the lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm Dr. Foster. You can reach me at teacherfoster@gmail.com, or you can send me a Facebook message. I am so glad to do my part to help in fostering your future. Have a great day and see you at the beach tomorrow.